Now it's getting all political and deep.
Yes,
Little Bo Peep.
I'm going to ask something crazy then. What was your reaction in the Homestuck panel where that moment between Hussey and Rufio?
That was crazy. That was crazy. It was just, the whole Homestuck world is already just this crazy wild world. My whole adventure within this Homestuck fandom and starting to read it just as a fan myself and getting into it, it's been a crazy adventure. And then sharing it with tens of thousands of people online, live blogging as I go about it. Like I said on the panel, it's a very unique experience. And so I actually, by the time I got to that part in the piece, I totally forgot that I was in the story. You're like, why am I reading this? This is a crazy story. And then you pop up, and then then I'm kissing Andrew Hussey, and it's like, what is going on? And again, there's a lot of things in the story that I don't quite get, but I get in some kind of strange level. I'm sure I'll sit down one day with Andrew and we can talk it out, and he'll explain to me. And I wonder how much he totally understands. He said in interviews like, yeah, some of the stuff I wrote earlier doesn't pertain to the stuff I'm writing now. So it's just fun. It's just a great story. It's a great adventure.
Now, I'm sure this has been asked so many times, but I'll bite the bullet. Regarding Avatar: The Last Airbender in the series, and you were Zuko, obviously, iconic character, and then now Legends of Korra, you came back as General Iroh for a couple of episodes. How does it feel coming back to the franchise where it really, I guess, made the Dante Basco as well voice acting more iconic?
Yeah, it's great. I'm always, even before I came back, you'll always be a part of the Avatar: Last Airbender family. And when we did that show on Nickelodeon, the biggest thing Nickelodeon ever done was still SpongeBob, and that was Nickelodeon. And so when they did Avatar, even when we were doing it for the first season, we were like, this is so not Nickelodeon. Like, what are we doing? And to be a part of something that really impacted the industry, impacted a big company like Nickelodeon, which in turn impacted like Disney. I mean, it sent a ripple throughout the animation world, especially on the American side. It's one of those things that no one even figured it would last even more than a season. You're like reading the script like, Nickelodeon, this is never going to sell on Nickelodeon. This is crazy. And it became this phenomenon, like a full-out phenomenon. So being able to come back and just rejoin the family, Mike and Brian, and Andrew Romano, who directs them, and just being in the booth that we did all those first episodes, and it's just amazing. And to reprise a character where I get to play my grandson, the whole thing is amazing. And me and Mako would do a lot of our stuff together, and Mako passed away during the last season of Avatar. So, and Mako has played and Mako's the Asian American iconic actor from the 70s and 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s to now.
I mostly know him from the Conan series.
And Conan series. And within the Asian American scene, he created East West Players, and he was nominated for an Oscar for Sam Pebbles, and just, he's a part of the quote unquote great Asian American actors, and he helped create that. And so he passed away while we were filming, we were taping Avatar, and he's played my uncle or my father several times in my career, and it's one of those, and we would talk about how special Avatar has become and these relationships that me and him had in the project, and how beautiful and for what it is for Hollywood, for Asian Americans. We had all these conversations before it passed, and and then it made me really realize also, like, I'm a part of that lineage of that Asian American actors, and as until then I never really thought of myself in that way. You're just another actor pushing your rock up the hill in Hollywood. And when someone passes of that nature, and you go, wow, hold on a second, I'm a part of that lineage of actors, and that gave me some of a responsibility to create Kinetic Films, to be a part of that, and to really, in some way, continue what he did in theater. Let's do it in film. Let's really, work with the next generation. And just a different responsibility as an adult actor in the industry now.
Let's liven this up a bit. Have you seen the a review someone did of the Hook movie called The Nostalgia Critic?
No. What is it? Was it crazy?
He said it was good, but it had bad points.
I mean, it was not a perfect movie by any means, you know, and it was we tend to look at our stuff in the past. I mean, it became this cult classic. Even when it came out, although it made a lot of money, it didn't make the money that they wanted to make. It didn't have the critical acclaim that they wanted it at the time. Because, you know, when you're doing these films, like, all kinds of crazy stuff is talked about when you're on the set. But Rufio became this iconic character out of the film, which is amazing, and something you don't really ever plan for. And then it also became this film for a generation. Like, for my generation, we would watch VHS, and we'd watch, like, Grease and, like, Mary Poppins and Sound of Music, like, non-stop, because every time you got babysitted or something, or rain, every day, it was like you would just watch Grease, like, over and over again. And so for the next generation that grew up in that time, I can't tell you how many kids I meet that are adults now that go, dude, I must have watched Hook on VHS or on DVD 1,000 times because it was that same experience. A handful of movies for every generation become that movie, and with every new generation coming up, there's like going to be that one of those films. It's probably like 1 of 5 films that kids will watch ad nauseum. And when you watch something that often, all those moments and characters become, and it transcends the quote-unquote quality cinematically of the film, and it captures that time in your life and those ideas of adventure and pirates, and it's less about the perfect film and more about that meant so much to me at that time in my life.
That's why I'm a big fan of Spielberg's work and why I want to be a filmmaker myself.
Yeah, he's awesome, and he hasn't done as many films in the last few years, but I just watched the War Horse film, and again, you see Spielberg directs in a way that probably no one can, because he's epic. Not many people can direct epically. First of all, no one can get a budget to direct epically, and no one has the weight to shoot this much of a room with a field and have a horse come in and have comedy, and it's a very unique thing. It's like someone who can make a pop song and someone who can direct an orchestra, and it's not many directors even have the ability to do that anymore.
Allison and Paul, I just want to do a time check. How much time do we have left?
6 o'clock.
Okay, so probably room for 2 more questions, and then we'll break into very quick one-on-ones. I apologize, we have to truncate that as well, but we wanted to save room for you guys at one of the one-on-ones. So 2 more questions from this point, please.
Question?
Sorry, it's just like, just hold the camera.
It's okay.
So, yeah, I grew up with Hook. It's an amazing movie, and so I was kind of wondering, what would, if you ever have like this one time of a huge struggle that, as an actor, that you just couldn't push through?
Yeah, I think we all do as actors. It's a hard profession, and I've been in town 27 years, and I've been fortunate enough to be a working actor and to pay my bills and live the life that I live through acting, and that's an amazing thing. And I tell actors all the time coming to town that it's a hard business. So with that, it's less of a, don't look at it as a business and don't look at it as a job. It's just a lifestyle. And either you buy into the lifestyle of the artist and you come and join the circus with us, and we go live that life, or you do the other thing, and it's neither one is better than the other. It's just it's an incredibly different lifestyle. Question? Yes, Nate.
This is about a movie that no one else has brought up, and I figured I would, and I hope it's not too embarrassing. But you were in the American live-action adaptation of Fist of the North Star.
Oh, yeah.
Now, a lot of people regarded this as being a very cheesy action movie, which it is a very cheesy action movie. But what were your experiences on the set working on that, and were you familiar with the source material?
I was not at first. Of course, once I got, once they gave me the part, they gave me all the comic books I could read through and I can check out. And my memories of that, it's a cheesy, crazy film with Gary Daniels, and actually there's cool fight scenes and some really crazy effects that were going on, like these micro, low-budget filming of this madness. But my biggest memory is two things. First of all, is I dyed my hair blonde, so it's like I had blonde hair. That was like the first, and I actually did blonde again for another film years later. It's the first time I had blonde hair, and that was pretty cool. It was in the 90s, and I was like this kid with blonde hair. And then the second was, it was with Chris Penn, who was a very good friend at that time, and had passed away recently. His son is half Filipino, and we had this real crazy connection because he's like, when my son saw you in the movie, it was like this big thing, the first time he ever saw a Filipino person on screen, and it's in Hook. And just hanging, the memory is, which is funny, is hanging out with him, because it was the night, we were filming the night O.J. Simpson is off, taking off. She chased during the chase, and we're on set, and the whole thing shut down, and it's me and Chris, like, in his trailer, like, watching this whole thing. And he's telling me, man, I think he's set up. You set up, man. I got set up once, and this really feels like it.
Then one last question for this
One last question, yes.
It's more so like a childhood wish, but like most people here, I grew up watching you play Rufio and Hook, but I also grew up watching Ernie Reyes Jr. as Sir Ninjas.
Yes.
So I was wondering if you would ever want to do a collaboration with him.
Yeah, Ernie is my boy. I love Ernie. He's cool. And, Ernie was doing his thing before I got to Hollywood, so I met him. Matter of fact, I met him for the first time at the premiere party for Hook. And we're still friends, and he's been in and out of the business, going back to the fighting world, coming back, and he's a father now, so things have changed for him, but I would definitely love to collaborate with him in the future, for sure. Ernie's a really good dude, and as far as a martial artist, he's the truth, for sure.